Time is one of the most precious gifts given to humanity. It cannot be stored, paused, or reclaimed once lost. Yet, many live as though they have endless tomorrows, making plans for the future without considering the fragility of life. But what if time was not as abundant as one assumes? What if today was the last opportunity to align with the divine will? A voice calls out, urging the listener to wake up from complacency. This is not the first warning, but it may be the last. The words carry a weight that should not be ignored. They are not spoken in haste or as an empty repetition. They are a reminder, a plea, and an invitation all at once. Dante, like many, dismisses these words, pushing them aside as if they hold little importance. His mind is filled with other concerns, his plans, ambitions, and the responsibilities of everyday life. But the voice persists, urging him to listen to the very end. To ignore it is to risk missing out on something far greater than he can imagine. The urgency is not without reason. Time is fleeting, vanishing like a mist that appears for a moment before it is gone. It is a gift that must be cherished, a resource that must be used wisely. The illusion of unlimited days is dangerous, for it lulls the heart into complacency. If the voice is truly that of divine love, then these words are not meant to bring fear but to awaken the soul. It is not a warning of destruction but an invitation to blessing. The divine does not speak without purpose. Every word carries the power to transform, to guide, and to lead into something greater. The illusion of endless tomorrows. It is easy to assume there will always be more time. Plans are made with the confidence that tomorrow will arrive just as today did. But this is an illusion, a fragile assumption that can be shattered in a moment. People invest their energy in building careers, relationships, and dreams, believing that they have years ahead to see them fulfilled. They say, "One day, I will focus on what truly matters. One day, I will seek a deeper purpose. One day, I will make things right." But one day is not promised. The divine does not call people to prepare in the distant future. The call is for now. Each day is a gift, an opportunity to draw closer, to align the heart with divine purpose, and to walk in the path prepared. Ignoring this reality leads to a dangerous complacency. It is like a traveler who knows a storm is coming, but continues to delay seeking shelter, convinced that there is still time. Then, without warning, the storm arrives, and there is no more time to prepare. The divine perspective on time. From a human perspective, time often feels abundant. But from the divine perspective, it is measured differently. The Creator sees the beginning and the end, understanding the full picture that humans cannot comprehend. It is written that life is like a vapor, appearing for a short time before vanishing. This is not to bring despair but to bring clarity. When one realizes how brief time truly is, it changes the way each moment is valued. Every second is an opportunity. Every breath is a chance to align with the will of the divine. Yet, so many waste these moments, assuming there will always be another. The divine does not desire for anyone to live in fear, constantly worrying about when their time will run out. Instead, the call is to live fully and intentionally, to embrace each day with purpose and to recognize the sacredness of time. To live with this awareness is to walk in wisdom. It is to see beyond the distractions and recognize what truly matters. Those who heed this wisdom do not waste their days chasing after things that will fade but invest in what is eternal. The folly of human plans without divine will. Many take great pride in their ability to plan. They map out their futures with precision, setting goals and making decisions based on what they believe is best. But there is a flaw in human understanding. It is limited. Without divine guidance, even the most well-crafted plans are fragile. They may seem strong in the moment, but like sandcastles built near the tide, they can be washed away in an instant. It is written, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the purpose of the divine that prevails." This truth is often learned through hardship. When carefully constructed plans collapse, when unexpected trials arise, people are forced to confront the reality that they are not in control. This is not meant to bring despair but to offer freedom. Surrendering to the divine does not mean abandoning all dreams and ambitions. It means entrusting them into the hands of the one who sees the full picture. It means recognizing that true success is not found in personal effort alone, but in walking in alignment with divine purpose. The blessing of surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood. It is not defeat. It is not giving up. It is an act of trust, an acknowledgement that divine wisdom is greater than human understanding. To surrender is to place one's life in the hands of the one who created it. It is to release the burden of control and to rest in the assurance that there is a greater plan at work. When people surrender, they do not lose themselves, they find their true purpose. They no longer have to strive endlessly, relying on their own strength. Instead, they walk with confidence, knowing that they are being guided by a higher wisdom. This surrender is not passive. It requires action, faith, and obedience. It requires listening to the divine voice and stepping forward, even when the path is unclear. For those who embrace this way of life, blessings follow. There is peace in knowing that nothing is wasted, that every moment is part of a greater plan. There is strength in facing trials, knowing that they are not faced alone. There is joy in living with purpose, knowing that life is not random but intentional. The final call: do not delay. The voice calls out once more. Do not delay. The urgency is real. Not because the divine seeks to instill fear, but because love desires the best for each soul. Every moment matters. Every decision shapes the path ahead. To dismiss this call is to risk missing out on the blessings waiting to be poured out. The divine is not withholding, but many walk away, distracted by lesser things. The invitation stands open. Will it be accepted? Will the call be heard and responded to? Or will it be pushed aside once again, left for another day that may never come? The time is now. The choice is clear. Listen, respond, and step into the fullness of life that has been prepared. There comes a moment in every life when the weight of time presses upon the soul, whispering of its fleeting nature. This moment is often drowned out by the noise of daily concerns, by the clamor of responsibilities, ambitions, and distractions. Yet, the truth remains unshaken. Time is not an unlimited resource, nor does it bow to human desires. It is a river that flows ever forward, never pausing, never allowing one to retrace their steps. The illusion of endless tomorrows is one of the greatest deceptions that entangle the hearts of many, keeping them complacent, delaying decisions that should be made today. Each sunrise is a gift, a divine opportunity to draw closer, to align one's heart with the higher purpose set forth before the foundation of the world. Yet, how often does one awaken with the false belief that another day is guaranteed? How often do people live as if time bends to their will, as if they are the masters of their fate? This deception keeps them from recognizing the urgency of surrender, the necessity of turning their gaze toward the divine, and the call to embrace a destiny greater than the fleeting pleasures of this world. The warning has been given, not once but repeatedly. A voice calls out in the wilderness of human existence, reminding, pleading, urging. Do not delay. Do not put off what must be done today. Yet, many dismiss the importance of these words, believing they will always have another chance, another moment to reconsider. They hear the call but do not listen with their hearts. They acknowledge the message but do not allow it to take root within their souls. But what if there is no tomorrow? What if the plans so carefully crafted, the dreams so earnestly pursued, are swept away in an instant? The arrogance of assuming that time is under one's control is a dangerous illusion, one that leads many into complacency, into a state of spiritual slumber from which some never awaken. The truth remains unchanged. Time is a fleeting gift, a vapor that appears for a moment and then vanishes. No one knows the number of their days, nor can they predict the hour when everything will change. To understand the urgency of this call is to recognize that every heartbeat, every breath, is a divine appointment. It is an invitation to turn away from distractions and toward the source of all life. It is a summons to step out of the haze of procrastination and into the clarity of divine purpose. Those who truly love the source of their existence will not delay in responding. They will listen intently, with open hearts and willing spirits, for they understand that love is not merely expressed in words but in action, in obedience, in surrender. There is a divine order to all things, a grand design woven into the fabric of existence. Nothing unfolds outside of this sacred orchestration. Every plan, every ambition, every carefully laid strategy must align with the will of the one who holds the universe in the palm of his hand. Without this alignment, human efforts are like dust in the wind, scattered, directionless, forgotten. The plans of men crumble when they are built upon their own wisdom, but those who anchor themselves in the divine will stand unshaken through every storm. This is the moment to awaken, to cast aside the illusion of control, and to surrender to the divine guidance that has been calling out all along. It is not a call to fear but to faith, not to despair but to hope. It is an invitation to step into the fullness of life, to walk in the certainty that every step is directed by a wisdom far greater than human understanding. Those who embrace this truth will not be lost in the shifting tides of uncertainty. They will walk with confidence, knowing that their path is guided, their steps are secure, and their destiny is in the hands of the eternal. Time cannot be stored away for later use, cannot be bargained with, nor can it be reclaimed once it has passed. Yet, many live as if they have an endless supply, as if the future is a certainty rather than a fragile possibility. They make plans as if they have mastery over the days ahead, as if their own strength and intellect are enough to bring their desires to fruition. But how many have seen their carefully laid plans unravel in an instant? How many have placed their hopes in the future, only to have it snatched away before their eyes? There is no wisdom in delaying what must be done today. The call is urgent. The time is now. Tomorrow is a promise that no one can make for themselves. The wise understand this and act accordingly. They do not wait for a more convenient season, nor do they gamble with the uncertainty of time. They heed the call while it is still today, for they know that the days are fleeting, and each moment is a divine opportunity that must not be wasted. Do not let the cares of this world entangle your heart. Do not allow the distractions of temporary pleasures to pull you away from what truly matters. Seek first the eternal, and everything else will fall into place. Align your heart with divine will, and your path will be made straight. Trust in the guidance of the one who has formed you, who knows the plans designed specifically for you, plans to prosper you, to give you hope, and to lead you into the fullness of purpose. The call is not one of condemnation but of invitation. It is not a demand born out of harshness but a plea rooted in love. The divine does not seek to strip away joy but to lead into greater joy, joy that is not dependent on circumstances, joy that is unshaken by the trials of life. To respond is to step into an inheritance that has been waiting all along, an inheritance of peace, purpose, and unfailing love. But the choice remains. Will you listen, or will you delay? Will you awaken from the illusion of endless tomorrows, or will you continue to gamble with the unknown? The answer is within your hands. The call has been given. The invitation stands. What will you do with the time you have been given? The urgency of this call cannot be overstated. It is not merely a suggestion but a divine summons. The weight of eternity hangs in the balance, and the decision made in this moment will echo beyond time itself. To ignore it is to risk losing what cannot be regained. To embrace it is to step into the fullness of a destiny that has been waiting since the beginning of time. This is not a call to fear but to awakening. It is a call to shake off complacency, to rise above the distractions that seek to pull you away from the truth. It is a call to return, to realign, to step into the divine flow that has been beckoning you all along. The time is now. The moment is here. Do not let it pass you by. In the rush of life, where voices clamor for attention and distractions pull in every direction, there exists a quiet voice, persistent, unwavering, yet easily overlooked. It does not demand attention with force or volume. Instead, it speaks in the stillness, in the moments between noise, in the pauses where the soul has space to listen. This is the voice of divine guidance, a whisper that calls to those who are willing to slow down, to be still, and to receive. But stillness is not something the world values. The modern age exalts busyness, productivity, and constant motion, as if a full schedule equates to a fulfilled life. People measure their worth by how much they accomplish, by how many tasks they complete, by how fast they move from one thing to the next. In this whirlwind of activity, the quiet voice is drowned out. Not because it is absent, but because the heart is too crowded to hear it. Yet, throughout history, the greatest moments of revelation have not come in the midst of noise, but in silence. The divine has always chosen the stillness to reveal wisdom, to offer guidance, to provide the kind of clarity that cannot be found in chaos. When the mind is restless, when the heart is consumed with worries, when distractions abound, the voice is there, but it remains unheard. It waits for a willing listener, for one who is ready to step away from the noise and enter into a sacred stillness. The question, then, is not whether the divine speaks, but whether one is prepared to listen. It is a choice, one that must be made daily, even moment by moment. The choice to pause, to create space, to turn inward and listen with the heart rather than merely with the ears. Many long for guidance, for direction, for answers to life's deepest questions, yet they search in the wrong places. They seek in the external, in the opinions of others, in the ever-changing tides of human wisdom, while the true answer waits in the quiet, in the depths of their own being where the whisper has been speaking all along. There is a sacred mystery in the way the divine communicates. It does not always come in grand displays, in thunder and fire, in visible signs and wonders. More often, it comes in the ordinary, in the simple moments of stillness, in the gentle nudges of the heart. It is easy to overlook, to dismiss, to doubt whether it is real. Yet, those who have trained their hearts to listen know that this whisper is more real than anything the physical senses can perceive. It is a voice that speaks truth, that guides with love, that leads with wisdom beyond human understanding. To hear the whisper, one must cultivate stillness. Not just external quiet, but an inner silence, a state of openness where distractions lose their power. This does not mean withdrawing from the world or abandoning responsibilities. Rather, it means carrying a posture of stillness even in the midst of activity. It means quieting the inner noise, silencing the doubts, and making space for the divine to speak. It is not a one-time act but a way of life, a continuous returning to the place where the whisper can be heard. Many resist stillness because they fear what they will find in the silence. When the noise fades, the hidden thoughts of the heart rise to the surface. The worries, the regrets, the unanswered questions. These things clamor for attention. But this is precisely why stillness is so necessary. It is in this sacred quiet that the divine meets the soul, offering healing where there is pain, clarity where there is confusion, peace where there is unrest. The whisper does not merely speak, it transforms. It calls the heart out of fear and into faith, out of turmoil and into trust, out of striving and into surrender. There are moments in life when the whisper grows stronger, when the call becomes undeniable. These moments often come when everything else is stripped away, when the distractions that once seemed important lose their meaning, when the things once relied upon fail to satisfy. It is in these times of emptiness that the soul is finally ready to listen. And when it does, it finds that the voice was never far away. It was always there, waiting, inviting, calling. To ignore the whisper is to risk walking a path not meant to be walked. It is to wander without direction, to chase after things that cannot satisfy. The whisper is a guide, a light in the darkness, a compass that always points toward true purpose. To follow it is not always easy. It requires trust, surrender, a willingness to let go of one's own plans and embrace a higher way. But those who do find that they are led into something far greater than they could have imagined. The world may dismiss the importance of listening. It may mock the idea of divine guidance, may insist that wisdom comes only from human effort and intellect. But those who have heard the whisper know that there is a wisdom beyond human reasoning, a guidance that comes from a source higher than any earthly knowledge. They have experienced the quiet certainty that comes when one aligns with divine purpose, the peace that surpasses understanding, the joy of walking in step with a will greater than their own. This whisper is not reserved for a select few. It is not only for the spiritually elite or the exceptionally righteous. It is for all who are willing to listen. It is for the seeker, the doubter, the weary, the lost. It is for those who long for something more, who sense that there is a deeper reality beyond what the eyes can see. The invitation stands open to all, but only those who choose to listen will hear. The question remains, will you listen? Will you create space in your life for stillness? Will you tune your heart to the whisper that has been calling to you all along? It is a choice and it is yours to make. The whisper will not force itself upon you. It will not compete with the noise of the world. But for those who are willing to listen, it offers something priceless: truth, guidance, purpose, and the assurance that they are never alone. The call is simple yet profound. Be still. Listen. Receive. The voice is speaking. The whisper is calling. Will you answer?